Greetings, Ticonderoga Central School District. My name is David Flood. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, who is David Flood? Who is this guy? We don't know this guy. Maybe one of you knows me? Two? No, probably none of you know me. That's okay. I am a youth motivational speaker. I speak in middle schools and high schools all over the country. Last year, I think I spoke in 102 schools in 38 or 40 states almost. I've spoken in about 500 or 600 schools, and I know where you are in Ticonderoga. I know exactly where you are. I live in downstate New York. I live on Long Island, and I know you're not upstate New York. I know you're North Country. I don't want to offend anybody by saying upstate New York. I know people who live in the North Country sometimes get offended by that, but I know exactly where you are, because I've spoken all around your school. I've spoken on the, on the other side of the border in Vermont. See, I know where you are. You're right at the top of, Lake George. Lake George, yes, you're right at the top of Lake George, right at the northern tip of Lake George. So I know where you are. But kids around New York State are so important to me. And I reached out to Mr. Donahue, and he emailed me back. I said, can I make a video for your seniors, because I know how difficult it must be if they've lost some things this year: prom, graduation, end of year events, dances, etc., barbecues. I don't know. And I don't know what the situation is in Ticonderoga, in your town. It's been, brutal. I don't have to tell you, down on Long Island and in downstate New York, it's just been really, really bad. But I offered Mr. Donahue to make him a video for the kids, for the seniors, and then I wrote back to him, would you like one for the entire, for all the kids? So I hope if you're in middle school or in the junior high or high school that you're watching this. And I speak in, as I said earlier, guys and girls, I speak in middle schools and high schools all over the country. And when I speak, my message is about dignity, respect, and compassion. So I give kids challenges when I go into a school, which I'll tell you what they are. And the reason, just to give you a real brief background on me, I have a son named Justin who has autism. And Justin struggled tremendously in middle school and high school, and still does now, somewhat with social interaction. So I've been out speaking in schools for about 8 or 10 years about that, and just about how we treat other people around us. So when I speak in schools, and I know I've never spoken in your school, obviously, I hope I get a chance to come there someday. But again, I have spoken in lots of schools, probably within, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 miles of you. I know I've spoken in the Adirondacks before. And I give, as I said, kids 3 challenges when I speak in schools. The first challenge is to look on the inside of people and realize that we're all alike on the inside, and we are. And if this pandemic virus doesn't absolutely prove that, I don't know what could. I'm just like you. Your family is just like my family. We're all susceptible. And how does that help us, Mr. Flood, if we realize we're like somebody on the inside? Well, it helps us in mainly teaching us empathy and compassion towards someone else, because if you believe, think, understand that people are like you on the inside, absolutely you could go to that place of compassion and empathy for them a lot quicker than judging them, and realize, like, starting there, that we're all alike on the inside. So that's the first challenge I give to kids. The second one that I give to kids is so super important now. I don't know what, as I said, I don't know what the status is of school there, and if your teachers have really gotten traction teaching you, online learning and virtual learning. And I know kids are coming to hate that word, the word virtual, but teachers had never been thrown into this situation before. Obviously, no one has. So I guarantee that most of them, if not all of them, had never taught kids remotely before. So you have to have a tremendous amount, and I know we're 2 months into this now, but you have to have a tremendous amount of understanding for your teachers, because they have other distractions at home. They have kids who are younger than you, perhaps, or even your age, they're trying to help navigate and teach online with their teachers. They could have a spouse, they could have pets. And teachers teachers used to be able to separate their home life from their school life, and now it's very difficult for them to do that. So the second challenge I give when I'm in schools is that kids should show respect for, say thank you to, and be appreciative of, and connect with 2 adults in the building, 2 teachers. So don't you want to be the person when school starts up again in September, that the teacher looks at you and says, hey, thanks for showing up back in the spring online. Thanks for helping me with that technical problem. Thanks for, paying attention when we were doing that Zoom session. Thanks for sending your stuff in on time. Can you have fun? Absolutely. Can you have a bad day? Absolutely. We all have those. But it's so super important to be even more supportive of each other now, teachers especially, for you to be supportive of them, and they're doing the best that they can. That's my message. So the second challenge is to thank two teachers. And the third challenge that I give, and I know you guys can't take this one right now, but I told you about my son Justin, and he used to eat alone in middle school and high school every day. And my third challenge to kids is to show up and no one eats alone. So eat with someone. And I know you can't do that now. I hope you take that challenge when you get back in September. But a way that you guys can show up for someone now is to call, text, email, Snapchat, send an Instagram message. I don't care if you write them a letter, send a carrier pigeon to their house. It's so important not to let people, we're all isolated now, but think about kids in your school who are isolated when they're in school. And I don't imagine that your school is that big, but think about kids who are isolated in school. Think about how not doubly isolated they are now. People are getting sick and dying from this unbelievable disease, but we have preventative measures to lose people to sadness, loneliness, isolation, and depression. A phone call, reaching out to people. Those things are so super important. And if you're that person, please reach out. And if you were that person, certainly you'd want someone to reach out and connect with you. So no one eats alone. Show up virtually, remotely. Reach out to somebody as best you can. And the last message that I want to give is for the seniors. I grieve with you if you're losing your graduation. I get it. I know that's important when you're 16, 17, and 18 years old. I truly do. I know that Mr. Donahue and the other administrators there and the PTA or who's ever involved in end-of-year event planning, and I know he'll take input from you. I hope he will. I'm friends with a lot of principals all over the country, middle school and high school. Very close friend of mine, one of my best friends that I walk with, that lives near me here. I walk with him several times a week. He's a high school principal. He's got about 300 kids in his graduating class this year. And on any day, on any given basis, on any day, when we're walking, I'll say to him, John, how's your staff doing? How are the kids? And one day he'll say, my staff is struggling. The other day he'll say, my students are struggling. But I asked him the other day, I said, are you taking input from your seniors as far as graduation? And he said, absolutely, I am, Dave. And they are unified in their message as one voice. They said, we don't care about prom. We don't care about graduation. We just want to get together one more time with our friends, preferably at the school. And I'm sure he said he's going to do everything physically possible to do that, as long as they're safe. And I'm sure Mr. Donahue will do everything physically possible to do that for you guys, to get you together again. I'm going to assume that that's what you want. So I know that he will, hopefully he will be able to do that for you. And lastly, I would say to you, I meet a lot of kids all over the country, and I tell them the same. I'm not going to be the guy who says, you should be grateful. Like, I don't know, who would say, if your mom and dad are saying that to you, or some people, elderly, I was going to say elderly people, older people are saying you should be grateful, that you're healthy and things like that, and you certainly should. So I'm not going to be that guy. But I will tell you this. I'm 55. And in my life, and in your life, there will be births and there'll be deaths. There'll be marriages and there'll be divorces. There'll be graduations and there'll be ceremonies and things like that, and there'll be lost graduations and missed ceremonies and missed birthdays. There'll be new jobs and there'll be lost jobs. So it's this up and down, and I know that's hard to hear, to even put things in perspective when you're 17 or 18 years old, but I know that when you get through this, you'll look back and you'll be able to use this to probably help someone else, or because you've gone through such this difficult, this is unheard of. Even the people who are still around who went through World War II, this is nothing like they've experienced. It's unbelievable. You can come out of this a better person than before it started. Not better than anyone else, but a better version of yourself. How do I do that, Mr. Flood? Well, you work on yourself, self-improvement. You pray, you meditate, you read, you forge stronger bonds with teachers, adults in your life, you reach out to people, form a connection that you never might have formed. Things are happening for me in the past, it's happening to me, happening for me in the past 2 months that I never would have anticipated. Family time, meeting new people online, calling, making new friends, just connecting with people. You don't have to be with someone to forge a stronger bond with them. Certainly it is powerful to be around people, but you can do that. There's a lot of other ways to do that with the technology that we have now. So you can come out of this a better person than before it started. Not better than anyone else, but a better version of yourself. So do you want to be that? What are you getting out of this? Are you asking the right, not why did this happen? You ask, what can I do about this? How can I become a better person and be stronger when I come out of this? So seniors, again, wherever you're going, off to work, college, start a business, I don't know what you're doing after high school. I hope that you get together again one more time with your family and friends. And I just hope that you're all healthy and well. Mr. Donahue absolutely cares about you. The fact that he'd reach out to me, someone that he'd never met before, and be willing to accept a video from me tells you a lot about how much he cares about you. So keep that in mind, and all your teachers and the staff in Ticonderoga care about you guys. I hope I run into you guys someday somewhere that has good cell service in the Adirondacks, because I know the cell service up there isn't too great. And I'll see you, I don't know, in Lake George or at a Panera, Dunkin' Donuts. Do they have Dunkin' Donuts in Ticonderoga? If there is, I'll find it. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy the end of your school year. Seniors, I'm with you. I'm praying for you. I'm thinking about you. Celebrate your achievements in any way that you can. Have a great day.